What's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know who it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. Oh, focus is off there. Brought to you by My Sunday Rock 2008. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is June 23rd of 2020. Man, we're almost halfway through 2020. Oh, what a first half it has been. But I'm probably going to say it for the next one anyway, so, because I think it was on June 30th. Yeah, but before we get into today's episode, let me go through my shameless plugs. So, of course, the shameless plug section would be if I had any advertising at the moment. Again, have had some feelers out there, but nothing's really working out right now the way I want it to work for the podcast or for My Song of the Day. So please follow My Song of the Day on places like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You get the 30-second Song of the Day preview on those places. You'll just find out anytime anything gets released, and it's easy to connect with us on those places. Instagram, especially because it's our most popular platform. We also do a lot of things, and we post a lot of things about asking questions about what's your album from a certain band, what's your favorite song from a certain band. We're put two bands together. We're like, okay, which band do you like more? Tell us why. We also do things like our Instagram live streams every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central, where you come on, you hang out with us for an hour, you have a good chit chat. It's a lot of fun. And also there's our Instagram IGTV series every single Tuesday, where it's like a behind the scenes look at what we're doing here. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. If you're watching this, please hit the subscribe button, because this is where you get all the My Song of the Day Rock 2008 YouTube content. You get all the Wednesday videos every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Always something new coming out with top 10s, album reviews. My favorite thing is the Kevin Figures Out series. That's my favorite one to do right now. I'm getting into a lot more of that in July. And then you can also watch these Chord Progression Podcast videos on that page. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play, but please watch on YouTube, because that's where you can actually see, the guests. And now time for our featured presentation. So I've been a little bit of pickle of this one, because I was trying to make sure I got a band for this one. I did have a band for this one, but due to audio issues, we're pushing them back to another time, whether like 2 weeks from, actually a week and a half from this episode, actually. So yeah, be ready for that. But this band, they jumped on one of our Instagram live streams. They were a small band Saturday band. And then when they jumped on our Instagram live stream, they told us a brief story. I'm like, oh, I kind of want to talk about that story. When I was in the pickle, I messaged them first, and I am so happy that they got to come on, because oh my God, this ended up becoming one of my favorite podcast episodes of all time, all based on these crazy, ridiculous stories, from jumping off of a roof into a pool to just having a blast, to HEB Thanksgiving extravaganza by playing something that you definitely shouldn't play at a family function, connecting with the band Osatia over something that could have been potentially damaging for the band, ended up being something incredibly great for the band, just great reaction management from them. And probably the best part about it is we have a My Song of the Day Rock 2008 presents the Chord Progression Podcast first. There is a shotgun in this podcast, so please make sure you watch, because you want to see them. You want to see the band Shotgun some Shiner Box. So please welcome the band Expecting Perfection out of Texas. Are you ready? I think you are. So let's go. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. This band was featured as one of our Small Band Saturday features. I believe it was back in January at some point, and they popped on a couple of our live streams here and there. They mentioned a crazy story with a band that I've been kind of getting into a lot, and I've been in a little bit of pickle lately, just trying to put something together, and they were responsive right away to help me get out of this pickle, to put out an episode for you guys today. So I'm incredibly thankful for them to be on the podcast today. So everyone, please welcome the band Expecting Perfection. Oh my God, I already messed up right away. Holy shit. Okay, take two.
It's all good, brother.
Take two. Alrighty, please welcome the band Expecting Perfection. So guys, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Oh yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I wasn't expecting to mess up that early, but wow, 1 minute in and woo.
It's all good, man. There's beauty in chaos, brother. There's beauty in chaos.
Plus, that's all the fun of it. So before we, really jump into the meat and potatoes of this all, and why do I keep saying that shit? Okay. But let's start with some introduction just so that everyone gets to know who you guys are, what you do in the band, and then I'm going to do all this weird stuff like, oh, tell me like a fun fact, but whatever the hell you want to say afterwards. Like I've had fake Tinder bios that people came up with. I've had just some of the most random crap you could think of. So just go for it. Take it away with your own introductions.
You go first.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm Adi, and I play guitar.
I'm Luis Enrique. I do vocals and rhythm guitar.
I'm Deadboy. I'm bass.
Alrighty, and as you guys mentioned to me right before we started this, it is Adi's 21st birthday, the day we are shooting this. That is correct, right?
Yes.
Do I have to sing happy birthday to him?
Man, we'll sing happy birthday with you.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, dear Adi. Happy birthday to you. A little SpongeBob in there for you. As it's Adi's 21st birthday today, so please, when the podcast comes out, it'll be a couple days after, but please make sure if you're listening, wish him a happy birthday on social media because he probably won't remember the rest of the night after this if his bandmates have anything to say about it. So I hope you guys have something to say about that.
Yeah, she's going to have a really good time, bro.
Fuck yeah, man. It's going to be a fun night. Definitely one for the books, bro.
I mean, that's the whole point, too. It's just, are you able to go out to the bars at all tonight, especially just, with the pandemic thing going on, or you're just going to stay in and just have a party?
There's a few bars open right now, but we tend to usually just keep it at like the home thing.
Yeah.
We're not trying to get like kicked out of any bars or anything, or just being fucking rowdy. So we'd just rather be rowdy at home, man.
Yeah, we got our own shed, kick it at.
Yeah. We actually the shed that he brings up is our practice space.
Yeah.
So that's our own little fucking that's headquarters right there.
Graffiti and all.
Yeah, man. we just fucking tagged up the whole place and just made a little homie, made a little expecting,
Yeah.
Made it a little put a little spin on it,
Punk as fuck.
I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. If you're making a place that you want to make it your own, just do whatever the hell you feel like. I mean, good thing I wore a Rise Against shirt for a reason. Punk as fuck, man. Woo!
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Man, I really planned this one out well. Yeah. Alrighty, so let's jump on into it. And the first thing I kind of want to start out with is I want to start out with your music right away, especially because with Piss at the Phobia, that's right now on Spotify. That is currently, as I'm looking at it right now, I believe that's the only song you guys have currently on Spotify. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the one you guys submitted for Small Band Saturday. And I was like, fuck yeah, we got to put this shit on. So I was like, yeah, woo. And then we got it on in January. And now here we are. But the one thing I never got to do with you guys was like deep dive into that song and really get like a full take on it. So I want to start out with you guys, like when you guys are writing Piss at the Phobia, what was your mindset behind writing it? What was the inspiration behind it? And how'd you feel about it going in when it came to creating the sound and making sure that everything fit the way you wanted it to?
It all kind of just started. I ended up, I was out of the band for a while. I had been in the band before, but then just due to complications and stuff, I ended up coming back. And it was one of the first practices that we had when I was back. And I just kind of looked at Adi and I was like, hey man, like, let's just jam. Like, let's just fucking like, just do weird shit, just so we can get our vibe back, because it had been a while since we had all jammed together and stuff,
I wasn't even in the band yet.
Yeah, he wasn't in the band yet. So this was a while ago. So we started fucking writing, and we just started getting the riffs down to the song that you hear now. And we were like, man, this is fucking sick. Like, this sounds sick. And then me and Adi just kind of like, okay, we got to start putting lyrics to it. And Adi was the real, she's the one who kind of like lit the flame and in my head, at least, because it was already there for her, but just to spark the idea. But she could talk more about that because she knows about her reasons behind the song.
Yeah. So because at the time, like in the past, I had like gone through like a bad relationship and stuff like that. So I was just thinking, like, it's kind of weird how like it's kind of hard for me like to kind of even get into like thinking about another relationship, or like it just like the concept scares me, so it's like that's odd. And it just so happened that there's a name for that, and that name is Phobia. And it like the feelings at the time when writing the song instrumentally, I was like, I'm really pissed at the fact that I have that phobia. So that kind of tells the story of like, that's how we got the name. It's also kind of like what is it? Like a homophone? No, like it's a sound alike to the actual phobia, Phobia. And the whole
play on words.
Yeah. So that's just kind of how it all played out. And then me and Luis were just kind of, it was a really hot summer night, and we couldn't be inside any of our houses at the time, and we were just on a laptop recording lyrics, sweating. My car doesn't have an AC. It's a 2006 PT Cruiser. So yeah.
PT.
Yeah, so it was extremely hot. We had to take many like let's breathe breaks.
I was fucking drenched, man. Like, cause I mean, you're sitting there fucking. Adi really, like, she was feeling for me, man, because I'm sitting there fucking belting these lyrics out, and like I'm just drenched. Like it looked like I had taken a shower, man. Like my hair was wet, I was dripping, like sweat was like beating off my nose and just dripping. Like it was gnarly, man. But we got the demo, and then once we got the demo, we went to the studio. So
you recorded this all inside of that 2006 PT Cruiser with no AC for the demo?
The demo, yeah. The thing that we took to our producer now and said, hey, so this is what our new song is. We're wondering if you dig it, if you want to work with us. And then it was kind of just history. Now we're just working with them. Yeah. Which, by the way, if you don't mind, if I could shout out.
Oh, go for it.
Shout out Resardis. Productions for helping us out with everything. Chris, we fucking love you, man. Thank you for everything that you're doing for us.
Also, the reason why we got in touch with Chris is because the frontman from Semper Service did want to give us an opportunity to record one of our songs professionally. So he was like, I'll pay for it. Y'all just go in there. So the song's sponsored by him, and now we're just recording on our own, paying for it. Chris, I'm pretty sure Chris likes us, so that's why we're still recording. But this wouldn't have happened if it weren't for Nelson from Semper. So big shout out to him as well for having us get that opportunity, because before we were just recording some bad demos and just like putting them out as like official audios, and it was just god awful.
I was gonna say, so no wonder why Pisses the Phobia is the only one that's on Spotify right now, because that is the thing that's been fully produced, master recorded, so you have everything set up there. But don't get me wrong, I do love the fact that you first recorded the demo in a PT Cruiser on just a hot summer day when you couldn't really be in the house at all, because, and then, working at it and literally sweating through everything. So it looks like you went for like a 7-mile run right beforehand. It's like, all right, let's do this. Just having fun with it. I would say absolutely love it. And then to what I was saying with the whole entire meaning behind the song, where it's just kind of that phobia of going into another relationship again. I do have to relate to that as well, because the only relationship I've ever had up to this point, like it ended, like the way it ended and kind of what it did to me. It was to what my mind did to itself. It was bad. Like it was horrible. Like it pretty much destroyed everything I did.
Really brutal, man.
Love traumatizing, bro.
Yeah, and I mean the reason kind of like to try and come out of it and like try and become the person I wanted to become all kind of happened from starting to like this whole entire idea that I had right here with the music, the thing, the podcast, all that kind of stuff. So, but now it's like I'm kind of have that fear of going back into one because I'm afraid to, fall off again and then all of a sudden go back down that path and then not only, go back down that path, but maybe not come back from it, because it was really, really hard to come back from it. So kind of hearing that thought process on a song like this and kind of just thinking about how it sounds, it allows me to, get a lot more in tune with it, because it is incredibly relatable on my end.
Nice, man. Yeah.
Which is good. It's a goal of ours, ever since the beginning, because we did start this, we have been trying to be a band since, 7th, 8th grade, and now here we are, it was our main goal from the get. We want to write music that's not just basic love song or basic hate song. We want to talk about in detail, about specific scenarios that are rare, that nobody talks about, so that somewhere out there in the world, somebody relates to it, and you happen to be one of them. So that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, man. That's what we do it for, man. I mean, we all grew up, listening to music and loving bands and just loving music in general. And one of our just goals is to be that to other people. Be that everyone has those songs or bands or whatever that they use as, I wouldn't say a crutch. That sounds like a negative word, but it's comfort, man. It gives them. It's like a, what, shit's going sideways, but I mean, everything's not that bad, And if I know for a fact personally, music has done that for me in my life, I would want nothing more than to be that to somebody else, And for someone else to say that, what, they get it,
I mean, I think the best way to describe it, because I found the best way to describe it for myself is with those songs and just kind of how closely I relate to them, and just why I listen so much, why I connect them. It's because when I'm thinking about something like a certain time in my life or a certain feeling, certain emotion, and just trying to express that, and you really can't find a way to express that, there's music out there that just, how you feel about it. It's someone's like, oh, what, because I talked to someone's like, okay, play me a song that makes you feel sad. And I'm like, boom, here you go. And it's just kind of okay, if someone asks me, well, okay, why does this make you feel sad? And I'm able to describe what I went through. And then the music ends up giving a tangible voice to what the feeling actually is behind it. So that's why people connect with it so much, because it's giving something a voice that's really hard to give a voice to.
Yes. Yeah. Fucking on the dot, bro.
Yeah. So what Adi was saying was when you're just kind of having that phobia of trying to go back into another relationship, when you're talking that honestly about it as well, what's going to end up happening is for someone like myself, who's kind of dealing with the exact, or something very similar in that same right, is able to listen to the song and just hear that honesty, not only in the vocals, not only in the lyrics, but also in the instrumentation as well, and just really connect with it on a whole nother level than maybe you would really ever expect someone to, just because, again, you're using your authenticity, you're using your genuineness, and you're using something that really happened to you, put into a song, and then essentially giving someone else a voice to that feeling. And it's just holy shit, while also giving yourself a voice to that feeling as well.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Now, I kind of want to jump a little bit more into the actual construction of it, because one thing I always like to do is I always like to dive deep into a couple of songs, of course, because that's the one master one on Spotify from you. Of course, I'm going deep dive into it, and I always take a look at the instrumentals first when I'm really thinking about a song, just because with the vocals, they're always they're always going to be there, and always going to be a huge prime point, but it's always the instrumentals and how they kind of evolve and make the song feel, which is really what drives it all. And when I first heard it, so starting out, it has this rapid sound that honestly made me feel it was a punk rock rapid instrumental higher tone version of something from Fit for a King. And that kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, holy shit. Okay, here we go.
Fuck yeah, man. That's one of the things that we really wanted. I guess it just kind of came out, you know. I'm obviously, you know, like I'm a little different from like, or we're just a different band now, you know. So once we decided to start writing together, we were like, you know what? Okay, this is a new era. This is a new EP. We're like, we gotta give it to them, you know. We gotta fucking show our fucking our passion and our love for this shit, you know. So, and that's just what came out, you know. Just all in the good sense of music, you know. And we were pleased with what we got. So.
Yeah, and after listening, like, especially like going through when I first heard that, because I was trying to pick it apart a little bit and trying to figure out why it was like drawn to that. And the guitar work, it kind of wasn't like, especially for something like that went as that kind of style that I thought it was going to go. The guitar work, it wasn't as down-tuned as I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't super high. It was like more like what I heard was like more like a middle ground. And then the drums are just rapid. They're chopped up, but they have that like double kick. They have the double kicks going on with the bass. And I just taking a look at my notes right now because I didn't want to forget how I felt about it. But basically, it's why I like this is because we get a little bit more of that accessible sound in the song that really draws you in for that many people do, especially with the guitar work. But just those harder backing instrumentals from the drums is something that drives someone like myself more to the song because I really love when the drums are chopped. I really love with the double bass kick. That's just one of my big things because that really helped me get in this like a lot more metalcore as well. It's just a rush for me. So something with that, I'm like, okay, I can get into this one way or I can get into this another way. I can get into this way that like I would get into now, or I could get into this a way I would get into the song like 5-6 years ago with that guitar work. So I can attack this song in two different ways. I can feel this song in two different ways. I'm just like, this is some like cross-contamination type stuff of like my life from like the past 10 years. This is wacky as all hell, but it was something like powerful. I'm not going to lie.
Nice. Thank you, man. That's a compliment just in itself. Thank you so much.
I was going to say, so now going back a little bit more to the instrumentals, like when it came to writing out the specific parts, especially for the instrumentals, what was really the inspiration behind, you know, like, okay, when you wrote the drums, like why did you kind of go with that faster pace, you know, that double kick kind of sound with the guitars, why you kind of went with the tone that you did, especially on that?
Well, Diego sadly wasn't able to make it. But what I can tell you off the bat, just due to if Diego was here, he'd be able to go like super in depth on his drums and everything. But I can tell you off the bat that the reason why we just decided that it's just so heavy and so hard, you know, it's just because whenever we started writing, me and Adi, like we just kind of clicked and we're like, yo, dude, this is aggressive. This sounds hard. You know, we need those drums to be hard. And of course it's Diego, so he had no problem with that. So he just fucking went down on it, you know.
Okay, understandable. And I mean, again, for someone like myself, like I just fall right into that category. I'm like, I hear the double kick, I'm just like, ooh. Kind of like, you know, like what was it like track with it, like, you know, it's like from Family Guy when they had James Woods on there and he just kept going down like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. For that, it's like, ooh, double kick. Ooh, double kick. Just having fun with that. So then kind of go more into the song as we go into the verse, like the first verse. It was something where the drums were pretty much very similar, but the guitar work, now the tone of it changed because it was constantly going between like not too high, not too down tuned, but like more in the middle. And then also the down tune points as well. Like it kept kind of varying a little bit. And it kept, in my opinion, it kept the song fresh and going between different parts as the drums kind of just continued that hard-hitting double bass kick. And it made it a lot more accessible for both sides of me. I'm like, okay, for something like, you know, me 5-6 years ago, I would be drawn into that guitar, but all of a sudden, like now it's going to be a little bit heavier, a little bit more down tuned along with those drums. Me today, I'm just like, yeah, let's go. Just all into it. Just like, okay, here we go. This is something awesome. And just hearing that variance, the song doesn't sound stale at any point. It's just fresh throughout the whole entire thing. It's always kind of keep you on your toes as you go forward.
Nice. But yeah, man. That's what we wanted, man. So I'm just glad. I'm glad that we definitely like. If there was any doubt, you know, like, nah, man, like we did a good job, you know.
I can keep destroying any doubt on this song as I continue if you guys want me to, because I got plenty more. And nice. when it ends with the instrumentals, it was got to go with the chorus as well, and it does have that rapid feel to it. The drums again, and I got to keep going with the guitar on this one because it had this different kind of tone to it that kind of made me feel like it was a little bit like very similar to what I hear on like a lot of songs that were more emo, but like just with the tone of it. And I absolutely like this because it had that classic sound, but it didn't ever go like as rapid and hard with the drumming, but you mixed them so well together with the precision of it overall. It was honestly the biggest standout of the song was that point with the chorus, just with the way the guitar work meshed in with those harder drums and double kicks as well. It was probably the thing that really threw me for a whole entire loop on the whole entire song the most. I'm just like, how did you do that? How did they honestly do that? This makes no sense, but on paper it might not make sense, but then in practice it's just like, yeah, this definitely works out. You should keep that.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you say that because I think with the chorus, because whenever we first were like, let's sit down and write this song so we can go into the studio and record something fresh and new. First day we sat down, I think all we got done was the intro and the verse. And then we got kind of like a map out of the chorus, just rhythm guitar wise. And I just remember sitting at home because the way I record demos, or not demos, but like, well, demos and writing with any song is I just have Audacity on my laptop. I use the microphone from my headphones, like some Skull Candy, like earphones. And I'm just there on my acoustic guitar and all that. And out of nowhere, I decided, you know what, let's try and sit down and just write this. And in just 20 minutes, that chorus came out. And I don't know how I got that fast paced riff that like, you know, that like if you can ask me how I did that or how I thought of it, I have no idea. But it was just like in the moment, like this is happening. Here you go. And then I was like, I guess I'll send it to the guys tonight. And it just,
of course, we fucking loved it.
Yeah. So it means a lot that you say that because it was like, I was kind of unsure, like, you know, I wrote this in 20 minutes. Like, there's no way this is like, you know, something that people are going to dig or like, you know, it's a big thing. And the fact that you're saying that is pretty sick. Like, you know, I guess maybe the instincts with each of us, just if it's right, it's right. Like if we've found that if we stick too long on something or try too hard on a topic, we know it's not going to go. Yeah.
It's there's I mean, you could always keep going, you know, but after a while, like you can't, like how most people say, like you can't teach rhythm, you know, stuff like that. Like you can't, if it's just not coming out, if you're just persistent on wanting to write something and you just keep on it, like eventually it's going to come out. But sometimes something will come out, but later on you look back at it and you're like, man, I don't know about that one. You know, that it just seems too forced or whatever, you know. So we just when we do write, we write, and if we just hit a like a fucking rough patch, or just like we just hit a wall, like lyrically or just musically or anything, we just kind of like, okay, let's take a fucking break. Like, let's just recollect ourselves, think about what the fuck we're doing, and then let's get back at it.
I mean, I totally understand that even from like when I was a little kid, just because like I was playing video games as a little kid, like Super Mario 64, and all of a sudden I was stuck on something and I was just getting super frustrated with it. And my mom would come to me like, oh, just, you know, take a break for me, take a 15-minute break for me. And I'm like 4 years old. I'm like, no, I don't want to. and then of course like take a 15-minute break, come back to it, end up getting the start like 5 minutes later. But it's just, I totally understand that where it's, if you spend too much time on something and you really just are like, okay, well, I got to have it this way, you're going to tweaking it enough to the point where it's just, you're really not going to recognize it and you're not going to feel the same way as you do if it just comes out naturally. Where when you wrote the riff for the chorus on this one, where it just came out in 20 minutes. I mean, it's like, doesn't seem like, that should happen, but at times it just does. And you just got to roll with it if it feels natural. And I mean, look at what happened. You came up with something absolutely fantastic and it just kind of flowed naturally. So you've definitely found a way to work with it. And I got to say, just keep going at it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's the plan, man. We're fucking, the only way is up now. Like we're going, man.
I'll say with the instrumentals, you're definitely going. But then, of course, there's always a whole other part to the song to get to, which is the vocals. Because, well, I had to make a weird transition that way. So the vocals on this one, I'm not going to lie, they threw me off the whole time because they went in a much different direction than I thought they would go listening to the instrumentation. Because many parts of the song, they, like I said earlier, they contain those rapid backing instrumentals from the drums and creating like a certain like more rapid, more hardcore punk, more metalcore feel to the song. So I was expecting like a good amount of unclean screams in there. I was expecting a lot of that, but that was honestly never the case because you really focused in on like more of like an emo feel to the vocals a little bit, and the tone was just a little bit different because throughout the whole song the tone bounced between like a classic feel that like the emo vocals would kind of provide, but something that's also a lot more in your face as well. So something more, a little bit more like kind of drawn back, but also like that punk rock feel where the vocals were going to be in your face. They weren't unclean, but they were more raw. They were more just like attacking you right in your face. And I mean, they matched the pacing so well on every single thing that went through because they were never really drawn out in that classic emo style because they were very much, I kind of thought like the classic, like a good way to describe it is like the vocals in the chorus of something like Fit for a King song, The Price of Agony. I'm just stuck on that song, but it's definitely a little bit more emo in my sense. But I'm taking a look at my notes right now because I didn't want to mess this up. And I say why this works is because it gives the song a completely different feel. Sometimes there is more of like an agonizing feel. But when the vocals are a bit less harmonious, it's more in your face. And you really go for a certain balance on it with going in between both of those. That is really tough to match with the pacing on this song, just the way it goes. But somehow, some way, on paper, I don't think it would work, but you put it into practice and I'm just like, yeah, this fucking works. This absolutely works every step of the way.
Fuck yeah, man. That's what I mean. I was just trying to really figure out how I wanted just to approach it. And when we started writing the instruments behind everything and just going into the song, like it was we obviously from the get, it just sounded fucking in your face. It sounded fucking rough. It sounded heavy. It sounded fucking hard, So when we hit the studio and I needed to go in for lyrics, that's just what I tried to bring to the plate, I just went in there and fucking gave it everything I had. That recording that song was definitely pretty difficult, just due to the fact that obviously we weren't used to recording in a studio yet, So going in and having to warm up and all this stuff, like I was one of those guys that was like, man, warming up, I don't fucking need that. My voice is my fucking voice. Like what comes out. Like that's all me. That's 100% me. And then I went in there and I was like, yeah, everybody was like, oh, you fucking warmed up, right? This and that. And I was like, yeah, I fucking warmed up. Yeah, let's fucking get into this shit, man. I'm ready. And then we started. Dude, we were there for fucking hours. Like, we were there for hours. Like, I had never felt like so much discomfort in like my throat. I was just sore, dude. Like, sore, man. Like, I was legitimately tired, like in the back of my head, like in my face, like just like chilling. Like they were like, hey, okay, so we're gonna do another take. Whatever. I'd be completely fine with it, but But in the back of my fucking head, I was just like, Jesus Christ, I want to go fucking home. Like, this is fucking, like, I'm done, you know? Like, I'm dying here. So the next time we went in to record, I warmed up and all this shit that I was supposed to do, and it went by smoothly. So I'm getting a lot better at it, just recording now, you know, going into the studio, doing some fucking like, clean shit, some good stuff. But it was definitely an experience for that song.
Poor Chris.
Yeah, Chris, oh man.
If Chris watches this.
Yeah, that was so many takes, man.
I hope Chris watches this because he'll think so many takes. Oh my God. But one thing you got to think about too is there's so many other bands out there that probably have gone through something very similar where it's just like they're constantly going through so many different takes of things, just trying to get it down right and just trying to make sure they get what they want. And it's like, okay, we need another take of this, we need another take of this. And it's like, like you've been in the studio since like, you know, like 10 a.m. and now it's like 9:30 in the evening and you're just like, all I want to do right now is go home, grab a beer, and pass the fuck out. But always gotta remember in the back of your head, it kind of like the same thing, just like, no pain, no gain. We gotta do this. Let's go. And
exactly. Like we're in the fucking studio, you know?
Exactly. And after so many different takes, so many different things where all of a sudden, you know, you didn't warm up and the next time you did, after listening to Piss the Phobia, I always put my consensus in it in an overall fashion to try and put it all together, and I think I have it on this one because I said overall, I am mad right now that this is your only song on stream because I never knew that you could mix like a metalcore pacing and the drumming instrumentals with like emo strings and vocals that make this thing that has like this balance to it that's really weird, but it absolutely works. Someone like myself really liking metalcore and that hardcore punk gets down with the pacing and the hard drumming, but that emo feel just adds so much more to it. The vocals staying clean throughout the whole entire thing was a great choice because it's so different from what I was expecting, but it works so well with the pacing overall. So in the end, I just put it this way. Great job. Like that's basically this, but it's just great job.
But yeah.
So I feel like, you know, man. When it comes to recording next, I mean, you guys should be pretty much like, you know, you kind of are going through like some of the trials and tribulations of it, and you guys know what to do when it comes to writing a song with the sound that you guys want to go with. So when you guys release more stuff, it's going to be, it's going to be similar to how I felt about this song, where I'm just going to be like, holy shit, they need to go on tour.
But yeah, man, that's what we're going for, man.
Very fucking soon.
Very soon. That's the plan, man. We actually we're already in the works. We're already in the studio. We've already done a few more songs. So the whole reason why we decided to take everything off the Spotify is just due to the fact, like how we said before, it's a new era. You know, we're starting off fresh, you know, new lineup. It's a whole new vibe, you know. So that's why we took off the older stuff, and we're sticking. We kept Pissed, and we're gonna of course be adding more. But we just haven't released our stuff yet. We're still working, getting our stuff done. But there is a lot to come. Yeah, we got a lot planned, man.
Something coming July 4th as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
July 4th on
all streaming services, platforms, whatever. We got a song coming out.
You guys got something coming out on the 4th of July.
Yes. Music video though drops on next Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday, the 27th. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to remember to write that down just so that I can make a little post about it that says, "Hey, go check this out, motherfuckers." Because, well, that just sounds like a lot of fun for me. Be like, hey, check this out. Otherwise, I don't know. Make some crazy meme of it, like, you know, like what is it, like dramatic gopher just turning his head, just like, if you don't dramatic gopher, it'll come and get you, or something, like, you know, like Terry Crews, like one of the last, like for one of my IGT videos, it was like, are you watching it? Because Terry Crews might. Just something ridiculous like that. Just, you know, why not? But then because it's just like, you take a look at like some of the bands I've done some with like small bands there, and it's just like, I just kind of want to keep growing that and just like help, like, just basically helping all these different bands grow, because all of a sudden, you know, what's going to end up happening is, you know, look at it like 10 years down the line, you know, it could be 20, 30. All of a sudden, what I'm hoping is like a lot of the bands that I feature on Small Band Saturday from the start, all of a sudden it's like I want to be, you know, featuring them on album reviews. I want to be featuring them on a bunch of other stuff, get them back on the podcast. And then the point where it's like I'm looking at music festival lineups, I'm like, holy shit, they're going on right before a day to remember. Damn. All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And then I can continue doing what I'm going to start next year with my little Winnebago tour, going around all these different rock festivals, camping in Winnebago for 3 days and just trying to like go see as many shows as I can, while also having a bunch of people coming to the Winnebago and hanging out for like 10, 15 minutes and doing a little interview just because, well, why not? And then probably, you know, shotgunning a beer mid-interview because why the hell not?
There you go. Yeah.
So that's
if there wasn't carpet in this floor that we're in right now.
Carpet's fucked, dude. You can take a shot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you know, why, you know, it's plus Zadi's 21st birthday. Why not? If the carpet's fucked, the carpet's fucked. If not, then you just get someone to come and clean it.
We got some.
Oh, we're doing this, huh?
Oh, no.
Yeah, man. Why not, man?
Oh, my God. This is the greatest podcast ever.
I know I'm probably not gonna be able to finish.
Shiner, Texas beer. It's a beautiful fucking beer.
Shiner,
this is the fucking shit.
Shiner
I was gonna
Bock.
say I can see the Shiner Bach thing like just hanging right there. It's like perfect product placement for it. I'll say now, if I didn't get new carpet in my place, I would definitely be joining in on this. Oh shit!
Oh.
Oh my God!
Ready? One.
Yes. Oh my God! This is the best podcast ever.
Man. I made too small of a hole. That little squirt scared me.
At least you had the scissors. I had to bite mine.
What the fuck, Pancho?
The class. Oh, I've done that before plenty of times. It's the classic little bite in there. But now I have this thing on my keys. It's a bottle opener I've had since I was 16 years old. This was like back when, like, because I'm from Milwaukee, so like, you know, Miller is the thing around here. And they had these things on the cans. It was like the little punch top can. So they had this little tool that you could just pop a hole in the top of the can just when you drink it. You know, the beer would come out a lot quicker. And what I do now is like it's the tool that like the bottle opener was like half bottle opener on one end and the other half was the punch top can. It's the perfect tool to just poke the hole in the can and then just open it up for a nice size on the shotgun. Plus, it actually opens it up like real nice and you don't get everything everywhere. I'm like, because every time like I'm at like a tailgate or like at the beach or something, people are trying to shotgun there. Literally, everyone's asking for my keys just so they can use the bottle opener.
Shit. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's just easier when you just carry around knives, you know.
Yeah.
A switchblade, perfect can opener, man.
Butterfly is even better.
I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna argue with you on that. Just, you know, done.
Boom, you know, done.
And if anybody needs an explanation, Texas. We're from Texas.
Yeah, we're from Texas.
I'll say, don't worry. If anyone needs an explanation of why we drink so much, Wisconsin. That pretty much sums it up.
Nice.
Yeah, so like what I'm thinking about is hopefully, you know, next year for like 2021, hopefully like you guys get to, you know, release more stuff. You know, you guys get on a little bit more of like a tour run. You come up to the Midwest, stop somewhere in Illinois or Wisconsin. All of a sudden I see it pop up. I'm just like, hey, I'm going to go and see that show. Because I just saw one like that from a band I interviewed maybe like 2-3 weeks ago that they're playing a show like 45 minutes away from me on a Friday night now in July. I'm like, I haven't been to a concert since March. I need this. Plus, I just love going to concerts. I love seeing shows just because I love doing it. It's just, you know, you get in the mindset of just like, okay, here I am. I'm at a show. And all that matters is just what's in front of you and just having a good time. All the inhibitions go to the wind, especially if I'm in a mosh pit, though. That's something that's a whole nother level. It's just like once I get hit, it's like, it is on. And all of a sudden just bouncing around everywhere. I don't care if I get a giant cut above my eye, which has happened, a black eye, which has happened, almost breaking my nose, which has happened. The only thing I haven't done yet is like tore my ACL in a mosh pit. That's pretty much like one of the only things I haven't done yet.
I've been kicked in the face. It's all good. It all feels good.
Okay, how'd you
Have
get
you ever
kicked in
been
the
in
face?
a Mexico mosh pit?
Oh, fuck.
No, I have not, and I want to know what this is like.
Yo, fucking tight. Fucking sick. Okay, so there's the border town that's right, like I said, 5 minutes out of Del Rio, you could be in fucking Mexico. So it's called Acuña, Ciudad Coahuila, Acuña, Coahuila, Mexico. And it's honestly, man, it's a party town. It really is. Like there's legitimately like a strip that's just like run down bars and shit. Like it's a good time. But we ended up on before he was expecting. He was in another band and they were playing a show in Acuña. So we decided to go, Pancho's been our homie for a while. So we're like, fuck yeah. I would love nothing more than to go fucking get trashed in fucking Mexico and just fucking rock out to some fucking metal. Like, why? Of course, dude. Like, let's fucking go. So we went. I wasn't thinking much of it, I just thought it was gonna be a sick ass show, And we walk in, it's a fucking pool party. There's shit like, dude, it was fucking rowdy. There's these biker dudes that were there, like amongst a fucking crowd of people that were at this fucking
God.
swimming pool area with fucking like big ass fucking water guns, vodka,
everyone's mouth,
going around fucking like shooting people, just
sounds
fucking
like
squirting
Vegas,
us, dude. It was fucking gnarly. And then as the fucking show progressed, it just got gnarlier and gnarlier. Fucking sex dolls started popping up and shit. And like, it was a good time.
Someone passed out. I jumped off the roof.
Yeah. Oh yeah. While Pancho was performing, he fucking dropped the mic, ran, climbed on top of the roof of the fucking area and just jumped into the fucking pool.
Yeah, head first.
It was fucking awesome.
No.
This dude doesn't even know Spanish.
Oh yeah.
And the guy was like, and if you died, but in Spanish, and he was like,
Me muero.
Pues me muero, which means, I died. Yeah, man.
Oh my God, I definitely have to go to this border town and see a show. Holy shit. One thing I do want to do though is I want to because I've been pretty much like all the shows I've really seen and really gotten into like, big giant mosh pits have been here in the Midwest. So places like Chicago, here in Milwaukee where I live, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Madison, Wisconsin, like couple like places around there, like really like that northern Midwest scene is where like I pretty much go and see all my shows because that's where I'm from. But one thing I wanted to do is like I wanted to bounce around to so many different areas because I wanted to see like what shows are like in different areas, especially for shows that I like to see. So I wanted to see some shows up in like New York and Boston and Philly to see what that Northeast area is kind of like. See shows down in Florida because Florida's a whole nother thing. See shows in Texas because Texas is a whole nother thing, and see shows in different countries as well. Mexico, you guys just put that one on the list for me because I've got Mexico I want to go to. I want to go to Brazil and see a couple of, because I know a couple of metal bands down there and they want me to come down. Like I want to see you guys play some shows and be a part of that. But then also go over to, I'm planning on going over to Europe. I was planning on going this year. It's going to end up being next year most likely. But like seeing like mosh pits in like Germany, Austria, Slovakia, Chechnya, like kind of like that like Central Europe area where it's just this kind of music lives and breathes. It's just like, yeah, I'm probably going to get wrecked the whole entire time. But you know what? I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Fuck it. No, it's all in the name of fucking rock and roll, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to jump in that pool though, because it probably because like the whole entire thing, if he dies, he dies. I'm like literally going like like Rocky IV with Ivan Drago. If he dies, he dies. Because knowing me, I'd be the one to jump in head first and get like some massive concussion and then not know where I was and then wander into some place I probably shouldn't be wandering into and then not really be able to talk my way out of it.
Fuck.
Nah, dude, for some reason, the pool was like crazy deep for no reason.
Maybe because they were expecting you to jump off the roof. I don't know.
It all works out, man.
It all works out. But my God, that is one of the best like just crazy random like going to a show stories I think I've ever heard. And I've heard a bunch of them, but that is just ridiculous.
Yeah, man. We had to. I mean, it was fucking, we're used to saying, shit that like we know for a fact that people just don't fucking like, they don't fucking believe us, that shit that just fucking happens, man. But I mean, fuck them. It happens. Shit fucking happens, and it's fucking fun. You get stories like this shit.
You should totally send him the video.
Oh yeah, man! I have the video of me jumping in the pool if you want to see it.
We'll send it to you.
Wait, there's video of this?
Yeah, man.
Okay, I definitely want to see this video just to see what it's like, and oh my God, this is just awesome because I want to just see you just jump in the pool, just whee.
Yeah, man. You know what? Well, fuck it. We'll bring it.
Tell me where to send it. I'll send it right now.
How long is it?
It's only a couple seconds. It's a jump.
Oh, I'll just send it straight to Instagram. Just send it over DM because I can. If it's under a minute, I'll be able to download the video and then, and then put it into the podcast video as well. And all of a sudden, it's like people are gonna say, just gonna see all of a sudden, just like the video is completely cut out, and all of a sudden, just whee! Yay!
Yeah.
Well, then we're making everyone see it. But my God. So, I mean, that's crazy stories of like shows that you've been to and played, but has there been like a show that you guys have played all together that just some ridiculous thing that happened that made like in the crowd or like on stage, you're like, how the hell did we get in this situation? Because honestly, those stories are always the ones that are just like the most wacky. I've heard someone get punched in the face while playing on stage and kept playing. That's probably the wackiest one I've heard so far, but it's still pretty cool. So what if you guys can beat that?
Well, as new EP, we've only played one show with us four. Sadly,
just due to the fact of COVID and everything, it just kind of happened at a shitty time, But I mean, hey, man, it happens,
Yeah, if anything, not really like crazy stories about people per se or like any of those situations. Because one thing, because we have been trying to do this band since 2014, didn't play our first show until 2015. And at that time in 2015, we were still in high school. I think we were, sophomores?
When EP started?
Yeah, well, freshman year.
It was at the end of freshman year.
And then whenever we played the show, it was the summer of our sophomore year going into junior year. Sadly, Luis had to, kind of like leave the band per se, for reasons.
Yeah, it's not like too important, but I just ended up having to leave the band just due to like family issues, because at the end of the day, you're still kids, and there's only so much you could do. So yeah, things were just a little rough at the time, so I just had to sadly, bounce from the band, relieve my duties, but yeah.
If anything, the rest of the shows, which I don't even know how many shows we've played as EP, per se, not just this EP, but like in general. But I guess to kind of sum it all up, back in 2015, all of the members, no doubt, were still in high school. We're basically juniors. So we were like, 16 at the time, something like that. Just dove in straight, like randomly found out that our small town had a music scene, and we were like, really? We're barely finding out about this. We get invited to play all this stuff. But once me and Diego graduated from high school, it was really hard to find replacements for some other people. One of our members was still in high school, so that kind of sums it up. Like, we couldn't really get into like some serious shit, fights, anything like that, because we were young. We were kind of like censoring ourselves, so to speak, just not, that makes sense, right? Like, just kind of like, we were just kind of censoring ourselves. But if anything, any stories we have is just like a lot of sound guy issues. This is a real common thing with musicians. You know, the sound guy doesn't like test out like there's a sound check. Oh yeah, we'll get to that one. There, just a lot of, you know, we had been an opening band in our music scene for like basically 4 years, and so we would be told to show up to sound check 30 minutes before the show. We do sound check, and then they're still doing sound check while we play, and it sounds nothing like what we sound check to, and they're just experimenting and all this stuff. So it was a lot of whack shit like that, getting a lot of feedback, and then new members in and out. So it was never like we're a family type feel. It was more of like we've got a foreigner here, you know, like let's kind of like we're kind of a little scared about something happening, you know, stuff like that. But one opportunity we had before Louise joined, we had
Texas HEB.
Yeah. So we got the opportunity because there's this thing that our town has, or I think a lot of cities in Texas
do.
They have it during the Thanksgiving season in November, and it's called the Feast of Sharing, which is hosted by HEB, which is a store that's just in Texas.
Yeah, they have a couple maybe out of the state, but it's pretty much like a Walmart but for Texas.
I'm honest. I'll say I actually know of the store just because of they always had a bunch of commercials with the San Antonio Spurs, which are always hilarious, with like Tim Duncan, Manu, and Kawhi was on the team, Tony Parker, and every time they put out like new commercials, it was just like I always wanted to watch the batch of them just because they were always ridiculous and they're just goofy, but they were goofy in a way that you wanted to just watch them and just laugh. So I'm well aware of what HEB is, which is rather weird to say come from Wisconsin, but hey, I guess I'm learned. Yay!
There you go. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so basically they have this festival for Thanksgiving where it's like a community thing. HEB donates all this food and everybody gets a Thanksgiving themed plate, you know, all that stuff. And they have artists, some like, you know, local schools, which we only have one high school because, you know, small town. So they have like,
doesn't count.
But that doesn't count because they don't have extracurricular stuff. Because they have like
it's for the children too.
Yeah. They have like you know, like cheerleading squads go and perform for all the old people showing up and stuff. And like we decided, you know what? Let's show the community what we got, you know. And at the time we had just reunited with Luis because we had not talked to him at all after he left the band back in 2015. So this was what, 2018? No.
I believe no.
Yeah,
it was.
So 2018, and we were like, Luis, you found your voice. You sound nice. We need at least 45 minutes of music. We only have like 28. And like with our members at the time, we weren't the type of band yet to just like talk in a non-awkward way to the audience to kind of fill in time in between. So we were like, Luis, you should totally go and play like halfway through our set. So he can totally take the rest of this story because it is the funniest thing.
Okay, so when they told me this, it was obviously it was extremely fucking last minute. So I was like, well, fuck, I need material. Like, I don't know. I don't have any originals that I'm ready to fucking like sing or anything. So I was like, fuck it. I'll just do some covers. So I ended up doing, what was the other song?
That Whiskey.
Oh, I ended up doing fucking like a Chris Stapleton song. Was it Whiskey and You? And then I fucking changed it up on everybody. And mind you, so there's the band behind me, which are my fucking homies, you know, and I'm standing in front of the fucking audience, just my guitar, you know, singing, you know, doing my thing, talking to everybody. And this audience is just fucking filled like fucking nut to butt with just like moms and their kids and like elderly people and just, you know, stuff like that. But me being the person I am was like, fuck all that shit. I'm gonna fucking sing what I came here to sing. So one of the songs that I had put in the set list is called Get You by an artist called Daniel Caesar. I don't know if you've heard this song.
I have not.
It's a highly suggestive song. So I'm singing it, you know, and the song starts off, through drought and famine, natural disasters, my baby's been around for me. And then it continues, and it's like a nice, sweet love song. That's what it sounds like. But then you get deeper into the song, and you have the first thing that comes up is that's just like, oh shit. When I sang, because okay, so the song's continuing, right? And you're going in, and then it just stops, and you would do like you'd like hold out a chord, and then you'd stop and you'd say, and when we're making love, bam, 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 your cries, they can be heard from far and wide. And it's only the two of us. Bum, bum, bum. Everything I need's between those thighs.
Mind you, me and Diego had heard his, like, we had heard like him singing that Whiskey and You song when he's like, you know, messing around when we're hanging out, and also that song, and like he was like, hey, I learned the song, check it out. He would perform it for us, and we're like, dude, that's sick, you found your voice. And so we were like, play those songs, but please, this is a family event. Don't make us look bad. There's children. There's literally children in our band. Like they were like, the youngest one was like 15 at the time. They were like, we are over here like 19, 21, you know, and there's all these kids still in high school. So please try to cover it up, you know, everything I need's in your eyes or something. So we're standing side stage, and then he says, between those thighs, and then we just look at the audience. We just like pull back the curtain. It felt like a movie. Pull back the curtain, and like me and Diego were like, oh my God. And then the rest of them are just kind of chilling in the back talking. And me and Diego were like, oh my God. And then you just see all of like the moms and like
Karens.
Yeah, and all that stuff.
Fucking
and they're
Karens.
just like, did he just say? Yeah. And we were just like, well, he did it. That's actually kind of funny. I'm glad he did that. So
yeah, man. I mean, at the end of the day, we're fucking rockers, man. I mean, we're gonna
censorship.
The funniest part is like with the small town, you know, you don't expect all this like all out type shit, dressing up like a live performance happening. They decided to go all out this year, kind of, or from what I've seen. They had, remember the 2 flat screens in front of the stage at our local civic center, just 2 flat screens. And I remember like somebody had taken a video of him and posted it, and it was whenever he sang that line. And of course they zoom in on his face, because keep in mind, anything else that's on the advertisements on the flat screens is just HED, Feast of Sharing, welcome, all that stuff, you know, 2018, all this shit. And then right when he sings the most suggestive, controversial in the room part of the song, they zoom in all dramatically to him, and he's like, it was the funniest thing. If that was my video, that would be something I'd send to you, but I think that was just like a Snapchat story or something, and it was somebody that we don't know. They just tagged us, so yeah. But that was definitely one.
So you think I need that video or that Snapchat story just because the whole entire story? Oh my God. However, I one thing I'll say is though is you'll be surprised at like some of those like family friendly events, like kind of the stuff that comes out of there. One prime example I have is there's this every time at the Wisconsin State Fair, 2 nights every single year. There's this band that shows up and they're called Here Come the Mummies. And they play this like arrangement of like funk and like funk pop, whatever you can think of, and it's all their original songs, and they're all like super duper sexually suggestive, and the crowd is always like this gigantic mix. It was like my cousin showed me, I'm like, I absolutely love him. Now it's like every year at the state fair, it's like all of a sudden like I find like so many members of my family there. My parents will end up going to watch him, and there's even a part where they're talking about the man called the song is called Attack of the Wiener Man. And during a part of the song, it's like once you feel safe and smooth, that's when the Wiener Man makes his move, and all of a sudden you just hear him go, you can't scream when your mouth is full. When I first heard that, like I looked at my mom, like I just want to see what her reaction was. I thought my mom and my dad be horrified just because they kind of get weird like that at times, especially when my dad's around, because my dad kind of tries to have like some moral high ground sometimes. But I looked over there and they were just laughing hysterically. I was just like, and this is the family-friendly state fair, and this is what they booked. This is what I love about this state. And I just kept drinking.
Fuck yeah, Wisconsin.
But then on top of that, with what you did, Luis, one thing that just made me think of the perfect way to describe what your attitude was School of Rock. When the kids go and get Jack Black out for Battle of the Bands, and he looks out the window and like all the kids are on the bus, and he just says, "No way, that is so punk rock." Boom, that's that story. That's like its expression in a nutshell, right there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we can't fake it, man. You can't fake being a rocker, man. You either are or you're not. I mean.
And if you aren't and you try to be, you'll be found out real quickly, because it all comes from inside and just what you want to do. And it's all a comfort thing as well, where it's, if you're going to be a rocker, you got to be comfortable with yourself. You got to be willing just to go out there and do whatever the hell you feel like. And you just kind of got to let loose. And if you have any reservation against it, then you're going to end up it's just going to end up hurting yourself in the long run. Not only like inside you, because you're like, I really just want to let all this out, but I'm afraid to, or it'll end up like coming out in your music as well. It's like, I want to say this and this is really what I want to go with, but I'm just not sure if this will work out right. It's like, no, fuck that. Put it in there. Just go for it.
Yeah, man.
But
absolutely.
My God, it's not. Now I want to definitely go to this like HEB like Thanksgiving thing just so I can see you guys play again. If you guys ever get invited back, and just be like, it's happening.
Well, with the new lineup, we're gonna get up there and they're gonna be like, "That's him! That's him!
Get him! Get him! Muzzle him! Muzzle!"
Kicked out for just how we look.
No, but don't go in there just like. Don't go in there just expecting that they'll know who you are. Go in there knowing that they'll know who you are, and just have a t-shirt that just says, "Yeah, it's me." Just leave it at that, and everyone will be like,
yeah. Fuck yeah, man.
Because especially if people don't know about it, they're going to be like, what the hell is he talking about? Then there's going to be people that were there 2 years ago. They're just going to think, oh no. And you're going to be up there on stage like, oh yeah. like the Kool-Aid guy, just, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man.
You might honestly need to bring Kool-Aid with you for that purpose, just because it'd be hilarious. Just like, just start drinking out and say, just, oh yeah.
But yeah, they got Kool-Aids in cans, man. So
they do.
That's a switchblade. No, I'm pretty sure. I mean, if they don't, I mean, fuck it, man. The pouches will work just fine.
Wine punch.
Yeah.
They got cans.
They got cans. All you need to do is like create like just print a Kool-Aid label on it. I mean, no one's gonna know the difference. Just say it's cherry.
Yeah. There you go.
Or if they have Kool-Aid Tropical Punch. I mean, I'm not well versed on Kool-Aid anymore. I think I stopped consistently drinking that when I was like 8 or 9 or something. Then like every now and then, like I see it pop up. Like when I was in high school, one of my friends, they had like, a giant jug of the mix, and I was like, oh, Kool-Aid! Just went crazy for it. And we made like 3 pictures of it. We got through 2 of them, and we just looked at the last one. We're like, please, no. too much sugar. No. And then ended up drinking it because it was a good flavor. Can't let a good flavor go to waste.
That blue one's fucking delicious.
Oh yeah.
That it's the blue one was always a classic. I still remember this was back. I had to be like 4 or 5 years old. That neighbor who was about a year and a half younger than I was, in his parents' garage fridge. No, he's 2.5 years than me. In his parents' garage fridge, they always had like the Kool-Aid in like the wax bottles. So it looked like a weird like waxy beer bottle type thing. Because they're like, oh, we're going to get some beer, and of course it's like grape Kool-Aid and like whatever the blue one was, like blue raspberry or something, cherry, and it's just like, oh yeah, we're cool kind of thing. Of course, I'm like 5 years old, so I think I'm the shit at that point. I'm just like, I'm drinking Kool-Aid, thinking, oh, I'm just like my dad drinking a beer. Yeah. Then I was 16 and drank a beer, and I'm like, this is so much better.
Yeah.
Good times. Well, one other thing I do want to talk to you guys about, especially, is the thing that you brought up on one of our live streams previously, because was talking about a band that I've been trying to get on the podcast, but also been really getting their music because they have this real feeling that reminds me of like Sleeping with Sirens and Pierce the Veil, which is a band called Osatia. And I remember you guys were on our live stream and you put in the text like you had some sort of connection with them, with someone on their fan page, and just like you saying how cool the guys were about everything that happened. So do you guys mind telling that story? Because I'm really intrigued by the whole entire thing and everything that goes along with it.
All right. So basically this was before these guys were in. And a lot, like before this lineup, there was a lot of like trial and error. We had a lot of like coming and going, rhythm guitarists, trying to find a singer. Cause once Luis was like, I got to dip, can't, high schooler, mom, all this stuff, stuff like that, personal stuff. I was like, well, we have the show in a month. I'll take up singing. So I was like, we need a singer. And we were experimenting with different things. We had written pop punk songs, written like, some more like leaning towards like rockish, like we don't know what to call it type songs. Just us, I guess you could say. And we were just kind of experimenting. And for some reason at the time we were like, we really just need to look for somebody who's strictly an unclean vocalist or a screamer. So this guy randomly messages us and he's like, hey, I found your band. I really like y'all. And of course threw us off guard because it's like, we don't even have any songs out like for people to listen to. It just had like playthroughs of like 2 of our songs and like, that's it, So this guy ends up coming up, and of course we're like, okay, he looks like he'd fit in, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say his name because he's the reason why things kind of went south. So it's one of those situations where you don't want to give
person credit.
Yeah, you want to.
Not worth it.
Yeah,
understandable.
And it's in the past. Oh, what's up?
Oh, it's totally understandable.
Yeah. So we're over here, like this dude's gonna come up. He says he's got a microphone. It's a really nice one to record. And of course, us as high schoolers who don't have jobs because we're in marching band and all this stuff, we don't have time for any other stuff. We're like, okay, cool. This guy's got a microphone. Like, that's awesome. Like, that feeling, right, guys?
Yeah,
just like, oh my gosh, like the smallest thing is like, oh shit. So, we're waiting. It's a rainy day. I remember we were at the rhythm guitarist at the time's house. He comes up and he does not look like this picture.
Not at all.
Not at all. And we're like, what the heck? This dude is like, keep in mind, we're like 15, 16 at the time. This dude comes up again, doesn't look like the picture. He's like already like out of high school and stuff. Probably like in his, like he was 20, 21.
Like late mid-20s.
Yeah, like mid-20s, something like that. So we were like, okay, well, let's not judge a book by its cover. And if anything, it's not like any of us are like alone, just us and this guy. Like, it's all of us. And especially since at the time there were 2 girls in the group. There was a bass player, Annalisa, and then of course me. So we were like, oh my gosh. So it was like Diego in the back. Like, oh my gosh. Tried to give him a shot. Long story short, for that part, per se, just didn't work out. We were like, hey man, you basically catfished us and it's not working out. So we drop him, whatever. He kept trying to spam us, like, please let me back, blah, 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 nothing. Like, we're just like, yeah, like, stop. We block him. He was very known. I think Pancho can interject about him.
Yeah, he tried to, like, interfere with the band I was in previously, too. Like, he tried to join. He tried to, like, make art. He ended up making art for that band that was copyrighted for a band called Shattered Sun. And we had this whole big thing. And, like, we just cut ties with him.
Yeah, so he's a very, like...
Yeah, I would say I don't blame you for cutting ties with him if it's something where, you know, what he's saying and kind of what he's doing are two completely different things, or what he's bringing to the table is something completely different. And then, especially with, you know, creating artwork for your other band that you were in, and then it was copyrighted by someone else. And it's just like, okay, this guy is definitely trying way too hard to basically be someone else that he isn't, and just trying to latch on to anything he can at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically that kind of, I think that kind of stopped because that happened. When was that show at the Elks Lodge? That was like the 2016, actually.
Around there.
Yeah, it was something like that. So about like a year or maybe like a couple months after that, maybe like half a year after that situation happened with us and him, he tries to hit us up again, like, please give me another chance. We just leave it alone because we know what he likes to start, because you know very well also, like, he likes to start a lot of just kind
personal drama.
Yeah, personal drama. Like, it's like, this is us, and then he starts talking about himself and like all these other things, pulling out excuses. So it's just like, let's just avoid that conversation and just, you know, like, not talk to him. So then once we started talking to Luis again, which was in 2018, he, that guy, he ends up hitting us up, and it was me, Luis, and Diego hanging out at the time. And I get a message from this guy, and he's like, hey, so I just would like to apologize because I feel like we left off on like a bad note or whatever. I just want to clear up everything. I see, like, y'all are still trying to do this band, and I see y'all got new members, and I like blah, blah, blah. Like, I want y'all to have, you know, a platform, all this stuff. And he was like, so I'm promoting for this band called Osatia. And they've reached thousands of views, thousands of shares. So I'm promoting them, and I'd like to volunteer to promote for you, no charge. I'm their personal promoter. If I can get them there, imagine what I can get for you. And immediately I was like, I'm not even going to look up this band. I'm not even going to I'm just going to leave it at that. But that was evidence for what was to come in 2019. So in 2019, like we've said before in the beginning of this whole thing, we were recording our own demos and stuff with some pretty crappy mics, you know, just micing the drum set with 2 mics, just a snare and a kick, guitars just mic'd up with a crappy mic, all that stuff. Vocals, our vocalist wasn't that good at the time. And just long story short, our mixes were garbage. But for some reason, it was like, you know what, let's put this song on Spotify, or let's release this song, like, you know, let's make it a big thing. So this guy, we post the teaser for the song, and I decide randomly 2 days after the teaser comes out for the song alone, and I notice that the Facebook post has 52 shares, and I'm like, we barely get, like, if we get 6 shares, 5 of them are from us, you know? So It's like, how is this like 50 something shares? Like, how is that a thing? I click on it, and it just shows the bandmates at the time. And it says, like, that thing that pops up where it's like, these people have shared it but have privacy settings, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, what the heck? So then one of our members at the time, the guitarist Ismar, she decides to look into it because I messaged the chat, like, what's up? What is this? Why can't I see these things? That's weird. And then sure enough, it's this dude's profile. He made another profile, but thought we weren't going to find out it was him. And, but he didn't know about Isamar. So Isamar's like, it's this dude, and he's been sharing it to these different groups like local markets, like market groups. And one of those groups happened to be the official Osatia fan group. And he said on that post, hey, I want you guys to check out my band, Expecting Perfection. And it's our first metalcore breakdown. He ever describes it so weird, and he's like, check it out. I am a top fan of the band Osatia, and you guys should check it out. Blah blah blah, all this stuff. And all the fans, if anybody knows anything about the official fan group for Osatia, is those are like the fans that are involved with that group are some diehard fans. Like they're active, posting random things on there, all that. I'm actually part of it too after that whole thing happened. But I go to the comments and I look at it. Of course, I couldn't see it because he blocked me. But we end up looking at it, and everybody in the fan group is commenting, saying, because the first thing that these people see about the band is him, and he's not even part of us, and he's making us look bad. Like that's everybody's first impression in front of thousands of people. So everybody was shitting on the song, saying that it was horrible quality and that we're a shitty band, blah, blah, blah. We end up immediately putting out a PSA on our Facebook page. And I think it's still up if you ever just want to look into it or something. But yeah, and we just kind of put all the receipts on there, said, hey, if you see this guy posting this stuff about our song, it is not, he is not associated with us, and just drop it, whatever. So basically, we end up finding out that one or two of the people who share our public service announcement about the fake guy is, I think, the drummer and the singer of Osatia. So they end up sharing it, and they're like, this is not cool. Do not shit on these guys, blah, blah, blah. And then they just shoot. I know they shot me a friend request, so I still see some of their updates. But as for Diego, I don't know. But that was kind of the whole spiel. And we looked bad for 1 second, and then once the drummer put that post out on the fan group page, everybody was like, oh, well, I knew something was fishy. It sucks for these guys. They switched it up real quick. Because, of course, if somebody's targeting your favorite band and you're a diehard fan, you're gonna, you're gonna shit on somebody. But once they realize the situation, they switched it up real quick. Oh crap. Well, it's good that these guys found out quick, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the whole story about the whole spiel. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Because I knew you guys gave me a quick synopsis of the story in the Instagram live thing, but just hearing the whole entire thing, I can't believe that there was just someone who just really wanted, it just seems like I mentioned earlier, just wanted to be a part of something and just went so deep into it. He was just kind of obsessed with it, just maniacally obsessed with it, which is kind of I think it might be a great way to put it. But then all of a sudden, going on a different fan page, especially with Osatia, and just putting all this stuff out there and just saying that he was a part of it. Okay, that's red flag number one. And then all of a sudden it's, if you're really just kind of spam posting especially a group of people that are diehard fans. So it'd be like the same thing if he would have done the same thing with, he posted on Dance Gavin Dance's page, because holy crap. It would have been it pretty much would have been the same thing. But then, yeah, because what sucks for you guys is it makes you a first impression, like you said, it makes you look bad right out of the gate, and it's not even you that's doing it. And it's not even necessarily your music either. It's just somebody being a complete dick and a complete douche and just, taking this whole asshole move and just saying, oh, I'm part of the band, and all of a sudden putting it out there. But then where it completely does a 180, like you said, when all of a sudden the drummer and the singer, I can't remember the drummer's name, I think the singer's name is Alex, where if they put it out there saying, hey, this was somebody else, it was someone crappy, don't basically don't treat your first impression was of the band on this like it was your first impression, because this was totally in the wrong. Like, kind of take a listen to the song again, see what you think. And then after that, it's kind of like everyone does change their tune, because I do agree with what you're saying, where if you have a dedicated fan base and someone's kind of taking on that fan base or taking on that band and putting out negative things about it, naturally that fan base is going to end up revolting in some way. I've dealt with that myself with like album reviews and year-end award stuff, when it's like, okay, because I always do like the worst songs of the year, worst albums of the year, and I always do that just to start conversation. And I mean, I see the same thing too, and it's all dependent upon kind of like how you can kind of change that conversation into something positive, where in this case it was something where the people that could have helped change the conversation into something more positive for Expecting Perfection were the members of Osatia, to kind of just, you know, calm the fan base down and say, give them another chance, because this isn't what this guy is not associated with them. And they did that, and it just completely did, like, it was like a 180 type thing, where it's like, okay, this ain't going good. All right. They basically posted, like, you know, shared your post like, yeah, they're, this wasn't legit, but still check out the music and see what you think. It's like, you know, 180 back to where you need to be.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't blame the fan base, you know, for saying what they said, but it was just more important, you know, that they realize, like, hey, first of all, they should know that we are not associated with this dude, and second, give our song a shot, you know, because we're just trying to release something, you know, because I mean, with the starting band, especially if like only 2 out of the 5 at the time having jobs and stuff like that, and still paying off like the 1 or 2 semesters that they did in college before dropping out, you know, like it's like, it's really hard to pay for studio time. And of course, we didn't find out about any studio until like a whole year and a half later. So yeah, but so we were just like, I'm glad that the fans kind of were real quick to, you know, kind of listen and open their ears so that we could say like, hey, listen, we don't associate with them, but give us another shot, understand the circumstances that we have to deal with, and all of the what's it called, resources that we have right now aren't the best. So just listen to it with an open mind again, you know, since it's already put in front of you. And we actually had one of the fans like kind of reach out and say, hey, I listened to your mix again and I could totally help you out doing a remix, but or kind of like master it better. But we didn't really go through with that. But it was just nice to see how quick the fan base changed. And like, I'm just glad, like, if it weren't for me randomly being like, let me just double check to see if the post even like went live today, you know? And then sure enough, I find out, if it weren't for that, I'm pretty sure to like 2,000 people, we would have been seen as like some like assholes. So yeah.
And one thing I always think about is kind of like, you're just like it's a reaction management. I think that was a term coined by the bar rescue guy John Taffer, where it's just like, you take a look, it's like you're basically managing people's reactions at that point, where it's just something, or it's like somebody just kind of did something, all of a sudden people are reacting in a certain way, and that's not the way you wanted them to react to it. And it was based on the circumstances that this guy ended up creating for it, which was totally a shitty move. And thankfully you did looking at like, okay, it went live just to check it. And then all of a sudden you saw 52 shares, and all of a sudden you're seeing where it got shared to and how people were reacting to it. And because it was something you guys didn't, you know, put out there, and it was completely not working the way it was, or basically not going the way you guys would have wanted it to. You had to find a way to just change it up and basically change the narrative in a certain way to make sure that the narrative that was going to be told and was going to, you know, be told to these fans of different groups, especially Osatia's group, was going to be the correct one. And just seeing how you went about it, and all of a sudden with the members of the band posting saying, hey, that was a total dick move that this guy did. That guy's not associated with this band, but please give him another shot and see what you think. I mean, you're just by doing that, I mean, the reactions change from, you know, going in there with a little bit more of like a vengeful tone, because, you know, it's kind of like shitting on someone's favorite band, to all of a sudden the band member saying, you know, that was shitty, but going to it with an open mind. Now you're going in with a lot more of a clear head, and a lot more just with no external motivations to like, maybe think, oh, just because I don't like what happened, I'm going to find things wrong with this. No, you don't want to go into that. If you're going to listen to some music, go into it with a completely open mind and think about it for yourself. That's one thing I always do with album reviews, and like when new music comes out, is I won't look at any other album review until I'm done with mine. Reason is because I want to give my full thoughts on it, and I don't want to let anybody else's thoughts influence what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's how it's fucking should be. I mean, I don't know too much about the whole reviewing thing, as much as you do or anything, but I would think that's the best fucking way to do it. It's very unbiased, That's putting your whole fucking thoughts into it,
And not only is it unbiased, but it's just completely honest as well, because then it's if I'm gonna put something out there that's like that I'm not being honest on there, then I'm just not being authentic to myself at the same time too. And the same thing kind of, I mean, in a relative way, it's like the same thing goes with your music as well. It's you don't want to have other people just kind of jump in and just be like, oh, change this. It's you want to make the music for yourself, and you want to make it the honest way that you want to make it. So it's kind of weird how both of those are connected, but it's totally something that's understandable, where it's just when you're making music, you want to make it as authentic as possible, and you want to make it the way you want to make it. And then when it comes to getting out there and basically promoting it and trying to get more people to listen to it, you not only want to do it in a way that works, but a way that works for the band and the way that works for everybody in there. And you don't want to do it in a way where all of a sudden something like this happens, where thankfully, it got a complete 180 instead of just going further down the rabbit hole and seeing what could have happened there. Thankfully, that didn't go that way. So now all that means is like once you guys drop new music, I mean, don't let this guy take control of that. Like, you guys end up like putting it out there and you guys promote the hell out of it.
Yeah, man. That's what we gotta do, man. We want this, bad. We want our music to be heard. So we're fucking. The sky's the limit, man. We're getting shit done.
Mm-hmm. The sky is the limit. Now let's take a look ahead into that future where the sky is the limit, because like you mentioned earlier, you have a new music video coming out on the 27th, which is next Saturday, or for everyone that's listening when this comes out, this upcoming Saturday. So it's June 27th. And then a new song fully dropping on streaming on the 4th of July. So we know it's in the future, but there's got to be more coming up for the future for the band, because if you're releasing a music video on a new song, I mean, there's got to be more songs coming up in the works. There's got to be, even though with COVID-19 and the pandemic being a thing, there's got to be some live shows coming up due to the fact that I'm starting to see live shows pop up here and there. Much smaller venues, but still places are starting to pick up, especially in those smaller venues. So what's going on in the future with Expecting Perfection?
Well, as of right now, we are in the works of an EP, fully comprised of like old EP songs, but just revamped, reimagined, professionally done in studio, a little, with a little more of this new EP spice, that new EP flavor, we're fucking giving it hard to everybody, how EP does.
More aggression.
Yeah,
more aggressive,
more down to him. Luis on vocals, belting it out, all that. Pancho, his energy. Yeah.
So it's some good stuff. And then we are also in the works of an album. We have a few songs that we have that album like planned. We have songs that are going on that album.
We've been writing.
For the album. There you go.
Yeah,
we've been writing for this album already for a good while. So we got a good amount of songs that are already in the works that we're just pretty much just polishing up. So.
Yeah, luckily, with us being in Texas, there wasn't really like that much of a big lockdown with this whole COVID thing. However, the main thing was that we couldn't record in the studio because this guy, it's his business. He's considered a business, so he had to shut down. But it sucks for other people, because other people taking advantage of not being like under quarantine or not wearing their masks or whatever, all that stuff. But with us, we were like, we'll just stick to us. Either way, we just hang out with each other. We don't go out anywhere.
Yeah.
So we just kind of took advantage of like, because Louisa, well, I don't know if you mind me saying where you work or not where, but like your position. But he is a server, so all the diners were shut down. So he was like, "Hey man, I'm free like until further notice. So come down whenever you want." And we were just right outside of his van named Bertha, and we've written 2 songs. And then put them together once everything reopened a little more so that we can be more out in the streets. We can all get together out here by the lake towards the outside of Del Rio, which is where our shed's at. And yeah, we've just been writing for that. And then the studio opened up like, less than a month ago? About a month ago?
Like 2 weeks, hasn't it?
No. About almost a month ago, I think. Is it like late May?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got some songs recorded for the EP, which is just old songs revamped, like you said, and we already ran for the album. So it's been pretty sick with what we've been, blessed with, so to speak. Just being able to work with what we got.
So 2020 is gonna hopefully be a fucking sick year, dude.
Yeah, hopefully,
big year.
Hopefully this EP comes out like late fall, something like that, early winter.
That's what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
aiming for.
And then new album can expect like sometime, well, of course, after the EP, but like who knows when that might end up coming out, just because it depends on when you guys are finish up with everything with that, record it, and then are able to get it out. And especially just with the way the world is with COVID-19, you never really know exactly what's all going to happen, especially at this given moment. So I'm not going to ask you for an expected date on that, just because, well, at this point, it's probably kind of like who the hell knows, and especially because the EP is the first thing that's kind of being, looked at this moment. So it coming out, late fall, early winter. There is something with this EP that I want to ask you guys for. And what that is when you know that the EP is ready to come out, when you have the set date for it to come out, it's all ready to go. What I want you to do is I want you to pick your favorite song, Consensus, off that EP, okay? And then take that favorite song and send it to me and let me know what date the EP is coming out, because on that date, on the day of the EP release, we'll make sure that song is the song of the day feature for the day. And then we'll make sure everyone knows with the My Song Day Rock 2000 Day stuff that, hey, Expecting Perfection, they got a new EP out. This is the Consensus, their favorite song off of the EP. So have a listen to the preview. Now go over to streaming platforms, wherever you can listen to it, and go listen to the whole EP. We're going to make sure that happens. So just remember that.
Fuck yeah,
for sure.
We will.
Totally will.
And then one other thing I kind of want to mention too is what you're talking about with once it's all started, and then it's just, not necessarily sure what to do. I'm always wondering, like what bands are doing during this time, and it seems like with what Expecting Perfection was doing at that time, of course, once everything got shut down, businesses were closed. You took the time to really just get to work on music and just basically work on everything with the band, and just not take a day that's like, okay, we're in this pandemic. Okay, let's wait till it's over kind of thing. No, you didn't wait till it's over. You got in, you got together, you worked on new stuff, and now look at what happens. You got an EP ready to come out, especially towards, the end of 2020, got a new album already in the works. So you guys didn't take any time off. You kept working at it, which is always the most important part when you can't really change, like what's going on. It's like you got to take the circumstances as they come. And then instead of saying, oh, woe is me, I wish it was different, say, okay, this is what the circumstances are right now. How can we make sure that we maximize our time and what we want to do during the circumstance, and not let, oh, woe is me kind of thing get in the way?
Yeah,
man.
We kind of just saw it as to be completely honest, as an opportunity, really. I mean, we're all always fucking working, so it's a blessing, that we at least get fucking like a day out of the week to get together and go over band stuff and be serious, but as a band, because we also meet, hang out before practices or whatever. It's just like powwow and talk about ideas or whatever. But for a while, we were just doing one practice every week because that's just how everyone's schedules were lining up, you know. But once the COVID thing happened and everything, that just kind of like, well, I ain't got shit to do. So let's fucking write. Like, if I can't work, I'm gonna fucking work, you know?
Yeah.
Yep, just take advantage of the situation, and it looks like you guys did, and I am really excited to see what happens once this EP comes out, and also really excited to see what happens on, well, when this podcast releases on this upcoming Saturday on June 27th, when the new video drops, and just see what everything is about that. And yes, even though because I'll be coming home that day from up north in Wisconsin, I'll make sure that I find time to not only watch it because I kind of want to, especially in the morning, but also find a way to make some funky, wacky, crazy post about it so that everyone can hop on and go to YouTube and be like, hey, you want to watch this video? Go watch it. You know, put on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, but Instagram doesn't let me put the link in there really well. So we'll find a way to get it out there.
Figure it out. Yeah.
What was the bio?
Yeah, there's bio, or you could just, I don't know, you could direct them a certain way and
Just tag us. Don't matter.
Yeah, it'll for sure be in our bio.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because I'm trying to think about it, because usually what I do for the link in bio is it's always the link to the latest episode of the podcast. But the latest episode of the podcast I'd be taking off for that would be on for about 4 days at that point, and it would be this one. So it's kind of actually works as a nice transition.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I'll figure out something to do for it, because even when I'm just sitting up north, kind of on the pier, fishing pole in one hand, beer in another, I'll get some kind of wacky inspiration, like, that's it. Literally just kind of like, you know, take the pole, pull the worm out of the water, run up, like run back inside and be like, again on my computer, be like, okay, we got to do this right now. And then spend like 2 hours inside making something because I got inspired.
Nice. Okay, man.
I'll do something like that. And taking a look at time right now, we've got a little bit over an hour and a half, and we went through a lot of crazy stories. We run through Piss the Phobia, and you guys got me excited for everything coming out next. So, I mean, I really don't have much more for you after this point. I mean, I'm just really excited to see what happens, especially, you know, come with this EP release, with this new video release, and then waiting to see you guys live, at least, you know, whether it's, you know, you guys are able to come up around the area up here and just like, you know, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, maybe Iowa even, maybe Indiana. I mean, it all depends on how close I can get to some of these places. And it's like, if I see them like, oh, Expecting Perfection's playing, I'm going. And then, you know, hopefully all of a sudden that like EP comes out, you know, the band starts getting a lot more notoriety. It blows up. All of a sudden 2021 rolls around. And all of a sudden these rock music festivals are coming, having this whole entire, you know, they're coming with their big 2021 lineups. And all of a sudden I'm looking at the poster and I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to this festival and Expecting Perfection's playing. Already, I'm definitely messaging and be like, okay, we're definitely doing this like wacky little like Winnebago, like 10, 15 minute thing in person. And then of course, once your show is out, once you guys are playing your show, I mean, you're going to be like, who's this crazy guy in the mosh pit that keeps getting whacked and looks like he's getting injured? Oh my God, it's Kevin. Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's fucking Kevin.
You'll probably say that and someone will hit me and I'll hit the ground so hard I'll get a concussion and get knocked out, and they're gonna have to like do what we did at Riot Fest last year when people were passing out because of the heat. Security couldn't get to him, so we crowd surfed him to the front.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Hey man, you gotta work as a fucking team, man. You're all there to have a good time and listen to some fucking music. You know, you gotta fucking band together and take care of everybody, man.
Yeah.
You know.
And especially after listening to Piss at the Phobia and really going deep into it, I'm really excited to see what you have coming up for us in, you know, not only this upcoming week, but in the future as well. And to see a live show, because just after hearing that, I know they're going to be crazy live shows that I really want to be at. Plus, I also want to jump off that roof into the pool too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to jump from higher next time.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, just give me like 3-4 shots of tequila and I'll do whatever, pretty much.
Yeah. Man, you don't even have to trip about that. We got you, man.
We'll give you 5 just to be safe.
I'll give you a bottle.
Okay, yeah, give me 5 just to be safe. Gotta play it safe, gotta play cool. We'll see what happens. Well, All right, Adi, Luis, and Pancho, do you guys have any last remarks before we send you on your merry way to enjoy Adi's 21st birthday and party like crazy, even with all the Shiner Bock that you got there?
Yeah. Well, I guess just real quick, fucking Shiner.
Hit us with that sponsorship.
Shiner Bock, baby. The fucking beer fucking champions, dude. Shout out the homeboys, the crew, CWBE, Children with Black Eyes, EP fucking for life, dude. Fucking expecting perfection forever. Fucking and just shout out to all the people who fucking got our backs, especially you, man. Shout out to all the motherfuckers that got our backs.
My little brother George.
At the end of the day, man. Y'all guys are what's fucking making this fucking train go.
Yeah, just to see that, like, we've been a band for like 4 or 5 years and nobody really showed us any like support or like faith or anything. Just kind of like, oh, it's just a whole bunch of kids, you know. And to see somebody who we've never even met in person and all that stuff, just kind of just dive deep into a song and just really like enjoy it, you know, it means a lot. So I mean, yeah, I think that says everything, you know.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for those kind words. That really means a lot to me because I just want to, like, I wanted just to, you know, not only just do my thing, just appreciate as much rock and hard rock, metalcore, punk rock as much as I can. But also I absolutely enjoy finding bands that are just, you know, ready to break through and become those next popular bands and just be able to talk to them and really dive deep into their music because it's everyone starts out from, I know it's everyone starts out at zero and just constantly going up. It's just, and everyone wants to get to that point and it's just everyone can work together to help everyone get to a certain point. And it's just anything that I can do to help get your music out to more ears, I'm going to do. So that's why we're going to do that thing with the EP. We're going to do that thing on Saturday with the music video release. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that as many people hear Expecting Perfection.
Fuck yeah, man.
Thank you.
Much appreciated, brother. Hell yeah.
Alrighty. And not only that, but I will leave with this because I always end the podcast by not saying goodbye. I always say see you later because I always end up, you know, don't want to just be like, you know, this is not going to be the only time we talk because I want to, you know, stay connected. And if, you know, when that album is ready, what we can always do is we can always do another podcast and really go through that whole album and really have a fun time with it. Maybe in person, maybe just like this. If you guys are playing a live show around me, or if I end up coming around somewhere where all of a sudden you're playing a live show, you can expect to see the Crazy Guy in the Rise Again shirt in the mosh pit because that's just what I like to do. And and then of course, if you're at a music festival and I'm doing the whole Winnebago 15-minute just fun thing, yeah, I'm just gonna message you guys and be like, yeah, just come to the Winnebago and we'll just, you know, we'll talk for 10, 15 minutes and I will have one of those Shiner Bocks in person with you guys.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Yes.
So,
just a matter of time.
Yep. So I will end with this. Thank you guys. Thank you for Expecting Perfection. And Donnie, happy 21st birthday. And as this is not goodbye, but this is a see you later.
See you later, brother.
Well, folks, that was my interview with the band Expecting Perfection, and that had to be one of my favorite episodes of all time. Holy crap, the stories, going deep in Pissed at the Phobia, the connection to it. Honestly, that was some of the craziest stories ever. I mean, and plus I can't wait to hear what happened with Adi's 21st birthday and see how that all ended up. Holy shit, I can't believe we got her on her 21st birthday and all the Shiner Bock. Man, I should be sponsored by Shiner Bock at this point, especially just after this episode. So make sure that on June 27th of 2020 is a Saturday. You look up Expecting Perfection on YouTube because they'll have a new music video out, a new single out on July 1st, or no, not July 1st, my bad. July 4th on streaming platforms. So check that out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, probably Google Play as well. And also just keep supporting this band, guys. I mean, I'm a big fan. and I think you should be too. So go check them out, and they'll be releasing a new EP in the fall or the winter of 2020, and then a new album potentially 2021, as they said at the end. And just hearing those crazy stories is a band you want to get behind because of those crazy stories. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one of these episodes with a big, healthy, and hearty see ya.